Okay, today we're going to talk about determining the slope given a graph. Okay, now slope to me means I was always taught rise over run, but the slope is really just the steepness of a line. That's all it is. So real world situations, real life situation is like when you're going up a hill or you're going down a hill, like when the airplane is increasing for takeoff or whether it's descending for landing. Okay, so you have a positive and a negative slope. So today we're going to be able to, our I can once we finish is determine, maybe, let me see if I can get right up here. I'll be able to determine the type of slope given the graph. All right, again, we should be able to determine the type of slope given the graph. So you just learned, I just told you that the slope is the steepness of a line. Okay. It also the rise, R-I-S-E, of the vertical axis to the run of the horizontal axis. Now that may be foreign to you, but I'll make it make sense. If I'm going too fast, go ahead and just hit your video or hit pause on your video so you can catch up. So we can find the slope between any 2 points on the graph by using the slope formula. Rise over run, or rise divided by run. So this is our rise, okay? Now we may rise up or down depending on what our formula says or our slope says. So right here, if it goes up, that means our slope is positive. And if it's negative, that means it goes down. So it may go up or down. That is our rise. Okay, over run, which is left or right, depending on whether it's positive or negative. Okay, anytime it's negative, it goes left. Anytime it's positive, it goes right. Now we see the red line here on the first example problem, and we want to pick 2 points where it intersects on a line. Okay, so I'm looking here and I see it intersects on our y-axis right here. Okay, and then I see it intersects right there. Okay, so if you know that your slope is positive or negative just by looking at it, you're good. The easiest way I can figure it out is like reading the book. So I look at my line and I go left to right. If it's going down, that means my slope's going to be negative. Okay, if it's going up, that means my slope's going to be positive. So right now, Let me write in a slope right here so we can figure it out. Right now, I look at my 2 points, and I'll start here. Okay, because that's my lowest point. And how many do I need to go up in order to get even with my other point? So from here to there is 1. So my rise is 1. So again, I went from this point and just up to this line right here so I could be even with my other point. So now I got run. And how many did I go over from this point? So I got 1. I went over 1, 2, 3 to get to that point. So my run is 3. Now I know that my graph is going down, so that means my slope is negative. I want to go negative 1 over 3. And remember, it's rise over run. My graph is heading down like a plane's landing. All right, looking at number 2 now, we have a bunch of points because that line just happened to touch every intersecting line. Okay, intersecting means crossing. So let's go slope equals, and looking left to right, I can see that my line is going up. So let's make a point here, and let's make a point here. Okay, just to make it simple, easy. So my rise is, I want to go to my lowest point. So it's right here. How many did I go up to get even on that line? So I go 1, 2. So my rise equals 2. My run is how many did I go over to get to that point? So 1, 2. So my run equals 2. So my rise is 2 and my run is 2. So 2 over 2 equals, or 2 divided by 2 equals 1. So my slope is 1. Now let's go to our 3 questions. So let's make sure we mark points that intersect. So we have a point right here, and we have a point right here. Now me looking at the graph from left to right, I can see that it's positive. Okay, so I know my slope is going to be positive because it looks like a plane is taking off. So from my lowest point, which is here, how many do I go up? So my rise equals 1 because I went up to equal that line. Okay, now from there, how many do I go over? So my run equals 1. So when I put it in, I got 1 over 1, and 1 divided by 1 is 1. So for that first one, my slope is 1. All right, for this one, let's pick this point here, number 2, that point there, and let's go here, point there. So let's go to our lowest point, which is here. Now looking at that, it looks like it's going down, so I know my slope is going to be negative. But we can use the notes that we had, and it says that if your slope, or if you go, let me go up so you can see it. Over here. So you going up is positive, and if you run left or right, if you go left, it's negative. If you go right, it's positive. If you go down, it's negative. So let's go to our lowest point, and we're going up. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So our rise is a positive 4. Now our run, are we going left or right? We're going left. How many are we going? 1, 2, 3. So we went left 3. And because it's left, that means it's negative. Let me see. Let me back up. Look like I did something wrong. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did do something wrong. I went over entirely too much. So here's the line that we're on. So we went up 4. Okay. And then we just went over 2. So 1, 2, not 3. So we went left 2. So that's a negative 2. Okay. Remember, I had already determined that my slope was negative because it went to it's going down. But if I didn't know that, I figure it out here. So I have 4 divided by a negative 2, which equals negative 2. So our slope should be negative 2. Okay. So now let's pick points. So we have here, and we can go there. So our slope equals, now as you can see, the line's not increasing or decreasing. So in reality, we have no slope. But we'll go through it and figure it out. So our rise. So how many times did this point go over up to touch the other point? You're right. It didn't rise at all. So our point is 0. How many did it go over? 1, 2. So our run equals 2. So we have 0 divided by 2. And anything that divides 0 equals 0. So our slope is 0. Okay, so we're going to have plenty more practice to do with this. You'll have questions for your homework. If you have any questions for me, you know how to get in contact with me. Talk to you soon.